All right, All-State Sugar Bowl LHSAA Prep Classic kicked off on Thursday. Kentwood beat Oak Grove last night 40-21, or yesterday for the 1A title. Lafayette Christian beat up on Ascension Catholic 56-7 yesterday for the Division IV title. Last night, Notre Dame 42-21 winners over Catholic High, New Iberia. Shout out to the Pios and Coach Cook for another state title going home to Crowley. Today, Amite and Welsh.
Yeah. About my Calicut New Iberia boys. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Best of luck next year, boys.
Amite and Welsh Class 2A game. That'll be Ismail Sopsher and the Warriors taking on Welsh at noon today.
You know what I want for Christmas? For one of these state championship games to finish within 7 points. That's all I want.
I can promise you one that won't.
Yeah.
At 3:30 this afternoon when U-High takes on St. Thomas More. The Dynasty will be pulling in for the final time this afternoon, and it looks like the Cubs are going to close it out with 2-year run of undefeated football, 2 back-to-back state championships. I mean, I'm calling it before they kick it at 3:30 today. Just being around practice. Yeah, no doubt. Being around practice a little bit this week. I've always said that I know that they're in discussion now that they're coming down and closing up their body of work as one of the best possible all-time teams in modern-day football here in high school in the state of Louisiana. But when they're zoned in, when they're focused,
it's an issue.
They're nearly impossible to beat.
Are you down for this idea? A high school football playoff, like a high school football playoff selection committee, where you take the top 4 teams in the state and then put them in a little 4-team semifinal championship.
They should
deal?
do how Kentucky does it. You know how Kentucky crowns their state championship in basketball?
No.
They bring every school together. It doesn't matter classification, private, public, and you go into a weekend tournament in Rupp Arena. And last team standing.
A weekend? What is this?
How many teams? I mean, it starts a week.
They're like hundreds of. Okay.
But it's
but you have to qualify for that
you
tournament.
got to win your league or whatever. But it's just easier to play basketball games than it is to go play.
That's fair.
Football games, and they have that tournament at the end of high school basketball on TV. Like Ben Simmons played in it, where they play like a national championship deal. You can't play that many football games. So I don't know. Whatever.
What do you think about the bowl game? Excellent take there.
Guess you're right.
Yeah,
no, I mean, look, honestly.
That's exactly why you bring you on every Friday morning.
Look, I know that.
I don't
can't get that type of analysis.
I was about to say, I know
anywhere.
that everybody cares about where they went to high school or if they have a kid in high school. If you didn't go to high school here or you don't have a kid in high school.
Yeah, my high school finished 2-8 my senior year and played Joe McKnight in the first round of the playoffs.
Not going to work out well.
Didn't go great.
Made the playoffs at 2-8.
Better
Power rankings, baby.
Better golf team than football team up there at Loyola Prep.
I believe so. Yes, I wasn't on either one.
Give me give me your thoughts on Greedy not playing, Devon White playing, and going into the Fiesta Bowl.
Here's another flaming hot take I've got for you. I think if you're Greedy Williams and you want to protect yourself and protect your money and you don't want to play in this game, I'm good with it. If you're Devon White and you want to saddle up and ride with your guys one more time and play, I'm good with it. I'm also good with it if you're an LSU fan and it ticks you off that Greedy's not playing, because everyone is in it for themselves at this point. And if you're an LSU fan and you want to win the game, you want your best players to play, and I'm okay with that.
That's fair.
Like that's fine. It's just it's not reality. And the future of college football is that if your team is not in the playoffs, and it may creep to that at some point, but right now there is a tiny, tiny, tiny portion of college athletes that aren't going to play in these bowl games. It's like 10 guys.
I was about to say, that's the key to highlight here. The amount of people that even qualify to make this decision is so infinitesimal. That's why I don't see the nightmare scenario of it being like, oh, we've got like a whole first round where the guy's sitting out. Like that would not be the case, because some guys, even if you're on the border, like some guys can still stand to really help themselves with a nice bowl game performance.
And I'm not here to tell you that it's a likely scenario, but it's hard for me to sit here and tell Greedy Williams he has to play in the bowl game when Alex Smith can't get out of the hospital, and they're talking about his leg being infected and he'll never play again. Like, that's a real thing that can happen.
How about I had people talking to me about that were trying to convince me that Greedy should have played, and they're sending me Jake Butt's insurance policy, in which Jake Butt was a potential first rounder, probably going to go first through third, somewhere in there. He ends up falling through the to the 5th round. And they're like, send me an article being like, look, he collected on insurance. And I read the article. He only collected $500,000. That's how much he got. He fell to the 5th round. If he would have gone for something, that is a difference of millions of dollars. And I'm sure you can get better insurance policies. Like, I'm sure you can. Yeah, exactly. He costs millions dollars.
The thing on the insurance deal is that
oh yeah, that's it.
it's not. It's just not like property insurance where here's what the building is worth. We got to rebuild it. If it burns down, here's the check. There's not a set amount of money that we know these guys are set to get because we don't know where they're going to get drafted and we don't know how good they're going to be and we don't know if they're going to play 3 years like Trent Richardson or 15 years like whoever. And you don't. There's no finite number here. You're just kind of grabbing something out of the air and saying, yeah, that'll work. So it's not an exact science like property insurance or casualty insurance can be. So it's difficult.
How much do I owe you for that consultation?
A lot.
All right, Devon White. We're going to watch him play his last game coming up here on January 1st.
Absolutely.
T-Bob and I were debating yesterday, not really debating, we both agree that he's the best player since Tyrann Mathieu in this program. Where's he fit in once he finishes his eligibility here in a couple
He's the best linebacker I've ever seen. Now, I don't go back as far as some people listen here. I don't remember Michael Brooks, and my dad's hero was George Bevan in the 60s, who was an All-American. George Bevan, by the way, over 70 years old, and kicked my tail on the golf course this summer.
No doubt about it.
So I believe he was probably pretty good based on how he moves around at 70. So I don't know, but I've watched Kendall Beckwith and Kevin Minner and Trev Falk and Brady James and all those guys. Devon White, his combination of size, speed, instincts, tackling ability, athleticism, he's the best I've ever seen. And for a guy that was supposed to play running back, and
seriously,
I mean, we had this conversation last night, and it's kind of funny to think about it. I mean, he shows up to play running back, and they go, "You see, number 5, he's really good, so you have to wait till he leaves. But before he gets the ball, we're going to give it to 7 a lot. So if you want the ball, you have to wait on 7 and 5 to leave. Well, you can go over there and tackle people, and you'll probably get paid a lot of money one day." And they figured out that was the good plan. So it's been fun to watch.
Yeah, the Frank Wilson recruiting story on Devon White's pretty funny. I mean, like, he wanted to play running back the entire time. We told him he was going to play running back. Everybody in the coaching office saying he's going to be a multi-millionaire one day at a linebacker. As soon as he gets there, they're like, "Look, man, just go over there and become a tackling machine. Just get over there."
Oh, you want to play running back? Well, guess what? You already signed your letter.
Central
You're
Florida,
here now.
yeah,
Get
right.
on defense.
Central Florida, the matchup. What do you make of it?
I'm good with it. Like I really wanted the Sugar Bowl. I mean, I wanted that. That's a great thing for Louisiana. I know. That's a great thing for Louisiana. It's a great weekend to go down there. Everyone knows somebody down there. Everybody knows where they want to go eat down there. Everybody, I mean, it's just a great place to go for LSU. And so I wanted that really bad, but she knew that was off the table. So next best thing is to go to this Fiesta or the Peach and play in a high-profile game. You run the risk if you don't get into one of those. The Citrus is probably going to pass you because you're not going there 3 years in a row, and you end up in like the Gator Bowl.
Even the Citrus is like the Gator Bowl to me. Like,
it's just that doesn't do much for me at all. And so I wanted Michigan, I wanted the Sugar Bowl. So it's not quite what it probably could have been, but I think it's worth getting excited for. I think it's a trip that some people are going to make. Not as many as obviously would go to Atlanta or to New Orleans, but it's a destination that no one's been to for a football game for LSU. And I'm of the opinion, and I may be proven wrong here, Central Florida is playing with the most massive chip on their shoulder I've ever seen any team play with. I mean, they constantly are squawking and complaining to the media about the lack of respect. I think they're going to say something over the next month that puts their foot in their mouth and gets the bulletin board material rolling, and I think LSU is going to be ready to play.
I think that how do you feel in terms of we've talked about a lot, LSU down 4 defensive starters.
Yeah.
They're going against a very balanced Central Florida attack. They're like 270 rushing and like 260 passing. They're basically just dead even. They've scored over 30 points an absurd number of times in a row. How do you think that LSU defense, like what kind of position do you think they're in given that they're going to be down 4 starters for that first half?
Being down the starters is a bigger story to me than they won't get excited to play because it's Central Florida.
They're going to be pumped to play.
Yeah,
I'm not buying this. I'm not buying this idea that they don't care about this game. They've never played in a bowl game this big.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm with you there. I think it's a huge deal. I think I talk to Brandon Taylor about this all the time, and ex-players have a little bit of a different feel, especially Brandon, than a lot of media members or just casual fans have. He's firmly in belief of next guy up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Kerry Vincent and Kelvin Joseph are the next guys up, but they're not as good as Greedy Williams and Christian Fulton. There's a reason why those guys play. So there is a drop-off. But with Dave Aranda having that much time to get ready, and I think LSU being able to hold its own at the line of scrimmage and the linebackers, even with Jacob Phillips out, they got to figure out something there with Jacob Phillips out because what I saw in the Texas A&M game was not good enough.
Yeah.
But they got to figure something out there. I think they'll be able to to cover, and they're not going to stop Central Florida, but
weird
they'll be able to slow
spot
them down.
for Baskerville too, having to come in like
Yeah.
the fourth overtime,
Yeah.
all of a sudden like, hey, okay, now freshmen go
turn it into
get
attack
the
with
game and try to win this insanity. And look, and then the other big elements, UCF is down their quarterback, right? So really there's no excuses for Dave Aranda and this defense. You're supposed to be DBU. You got to be able to handle being down these guys, even though, like Hunt said, these are two damn good cornerbacks to be without. And there is a step down, but I feel like there's still enough talent in that secondary to bridge the gap. What do you think Jacoby Stevens' role is for this game?
That was fun to watch in the A&M game.
Yeah.
He was just kind of all over the place. I thought he did a really nice job on Sternberger. I mean, you can't stop that guy totally,
really did.
and he made a couple of plays, but I thought for him kind of being thrust into a role that he hadn't really done at all this year, he did a really good. He's such a good athlete. And I talked to Tommy Moffitt on the pregame show about all the transitions Jacoby Stevens has made, and has that changed how you train him and how you work him out in terms of his weight and what you ask him to do on the field. He's like, I don't really have to change anything with him. He's such a freak in the weight room. He's so explosive. He's so fast. He's so powerful. We just keep him right where he is.
Yeah, people forget, man. I mean, he's a 5-star coming out of Tennessee, one of the best defensive backs in the country. In that recruiting cycle, Jacoby Stevens finally finding his way in that LSU defense. Have a good weekend, man.
You guys too. Thanks.
Hunt Palmer every Friday here with us on Off the Bench. Catch him on the LSU Sports Radio Network.